After their first-round exit to the Phoenix Suns in the NBA playoffs, the Lakers now enter a pivotal offseason with a lot of question marks hovering around this roster. They could use a lot of roster upgrades and new pieces. The only thing is the Lakers don't have a bunch of money to spend, so they're going to have to get creative with how they kind of manipulate and maneuver around the cap. Could one of those moves be having a conversation with Montrezl Harrell and letting him know, hey, we don't have plans for you in the future. You have a player option going into next season. Deny that and become an unrestricted free agent. It'll work out for both parties. That's something we're going to continue to monitor here on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. So let's explore all of that right now. So going back to last offseason after the NBA bubble, Montrezl Harrell getting signed by the Lakers came as a huge surprise to a lot of people. One, a lot of people didn't think that the Lakers really needed Harrell. Two, he made a big splash going from the rival Los Angeles Clippers to the Lake Show. As I mentioned, has a player option this offseason, so he can either opt in so that he's on the books and on the Lakers next season, or he can opt out and become an unrestricted free agent. Here's why I'm kind of posing this question. After the Lakers signed Andre Drummond, Harrell simply didn't play as much, and he got DNP'd twice against the Phoenix Suns. There's no question this guy has a lot of ability. But does he have a role moving forward with this organization, especially when you consider the fact they don't have a lot of money at all? A lot of Lakers fans thought that they were going to get the Montrezl Harrell from 2 seasons ago who won the NBA six-man, and he was brilliant that year. Very active offensively, gives you a lot of effort on both ends of the floor, can fill the stat sheet, and when you need an energetic presence, Montrezl Harrell is able to come in and give you just that. 2 seasons ago, in a little less than 28 minutes, average almost 19 points per game. That's really elite. Also chipped in with more than 7 rebounds. So Montrezl Harrell, really good 2 years ago. And in spurts with the Lakers this past season, he was pretty solid. But as you'll see, his minutes went down by about 5. His points per game went down as well. And there was decrease in production as well as playing time, especially after Andre Drummond was brought in. I thought maybe the Lakers, against small ball teams, were going to trot out Montrezl Harrell frequently as a small ball 5. Frank Vogel elected not to do that. Also important to note that Montrezl Harrell lost his grandmother, and he has admitted that severely affected his play. So keep an eye on that as well. Here's what Harrell had to say about returning to the Lakers next season because of that player option in his postseason press conference. He said, quote, I came in every day and did my job. I did what they asked me to do. That's key right there. And I played my role. Simple as that. As far as my future, I don't know what that holds right now. We just finished playing last night, so I can't give you that answer right now. Where I'm focusing on in that quote is I came in every day and did my job and I did what they asked me to do. I think there's no question for any competitor out there, whether you're working in a certain business, I'm on air, or you're playing basketball, you want to be able to work or play as much as you can, especially when you know you have the ability to do so. So if Harrell's not getting minutes, does he decline his player option and become an unrestricted free agent so that he hits the open market, can get paid, and get more playing time as well? Laker Nation, I want to ask you this. Do you want the Lakers to bring Montrezl Harrell back? Get into the comments, get your votes in, and let me know. Type Y for yes, type N for no, because this is a storyline we're going to continue to cover here on the Lakers Report. Speaking of the Lakers Report, it's made possible today thanks to our friends at Newsbreak. This is the favorite app that I have on my phone right now, and I have pages and pages of app on my phone right now. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go to chatsports.com/LakersNB. Download the Newsbreak app right now. That link on the bottom of your screen will redirect you to the App Store. You'll be able to download it there for free. And on one single feed, you get your local news, weather and crime, your politics, pop culture and food, Lakers content, especially Lakers Report videos from us here at Chat Sports. I'm going to be sure to put this link in the description as well as the comments because Newsbreak is a massive supporter of what we do here at Chat Sports. We're trying to get more followers on the Lakers Report page. We're trying to get more downloads. So if you like what we're doing here at Chat Sports and on the Lakers Report, do us a favor by supporting the show, supporting me. Go to chatsports.com/LakersNB and download what will become the best app on your phone. What are the Lakers going to do with Montrezl Harrell? That's a question we're going to continue to try and tackle here on today's show, because 2 years ago, talk about that ability that he showed. He was the sixth man of the NBA, and I thought as a rim-running big, a guy who can play small ball 5 or a 4 spot, he brings a lot of value to the floor. He is, though, a liability on defense, and in pick and rolls, when he has to extend out to the perimeter and guard some big guys who can shoot, he can be picked apart a little bit. Also, if he is a small ball 5 against some of the bigger centers, they go back to the basket on Montrezl Harrell, and sometimes he just doesn't have a shot because it's a matchup problem. And I talked about this earlier. Montrezl Harrell struggled personally. He lost his grandmother, and he admitted as much that down the stretch at the end of the regular season and in the playoffs, he just wasn't the same. He was sad and depressed, and that's why Montrezl Harrell struggled, and that's maybe why his playing time decreased a little bit. Here's the problem, though. I just don't know, if you're not going to play Montrezl Harrell, if he's worth almost $10 million, which is what he is on the books for in the 2021-2022 season, especially when you consider that the Lakers are very tight on cash right now. So Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN released these figures back in November, and they could fluctuate and change, so take them with a little grain of salt and understand there could be some flexibility with the dollar figures here. But in the NBA next season, the salary cap expected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $112 million. The NBA tax, around $136.5 million. Right now, the Lakers' current roster cap for next season, north of that salary cap figure at $116.9 million, so almost $117 million. And the maximum cap space that the Lakers have right now, they are in the red. They don't have any cap space at all, nor do they have any flexibility. It's at $9.5 million in red, whereas Montrezl Harrell almost making $10 if he opts into that player option. There are 5 players right now on the Lakers' books for next season guaranteed. That's LeBron James at $41.1 million, Anthony Davis at $35.3, KCP at $13 even, Kyle Kuzma at $13 with that extension that he signed before the season, and Marc Gasol at $2.5 million. The combined salaries of those 5 guys, according to Spotrac, $117.9 million, which is above the cap number projected for next season. So the Lakers are going to have to get really, really creative with how they spend money, with how they divvy out money, and basically how they want to kind of maneuver and manipulate the cap if they want to upgrade this roster, because there are a lot of roster questions that Rob Pelinka has to address this offseason. So what do you think the smarter move is if you're Rob Pelinka and this Lakers front office brass? Type B if you think they should bring Montrezl Harrell back. Type S for see ya. Get your votes in the comment section. Let me know. I'm going to go ahead and type my S for see ya, because at around $10 million for a guy who might not play a lot, you could use that money and allocate it elsewhere on a team that really, really needs some dollars. If you haven't subscribed to the Lakers Report by Chat Sports, what the hell are you doing? Hit that big red subscribe button down below, or go to youtube.com/LakersTV and let this be your Lakers offseason hub for everything that's happening with this franchise. We talk Dame Lillard rumors. We talk about Montrezl Harrell and simplify and break down the cap for you. All of that and more on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. So subscribe right now and help get us to 36,000 subs.